Hello friends, welcome to another week of Movie Monday. What are we going to talk about this week? It's a very sacred word called innovation. Why am I calling innovation as a sacred word? Because a lot of us think that innovation is only for a privileged few and not everyone can do it. Like it or not, innovation is not a privileged word or a sacred word. Truly speaking, everybody can innovate. Why am I saying this? Again, because you can learn a lot of things about innovation from movies. But before we get into movies, I want to talk about the meaning of innovation. Someone said, innovation is the art of taking two things that already exist and putting them in a new dimension. And that is what innovation is all about. Now, take an industry or take a profession like the fine arts. It could be Carnatic music or it could be Western music or anything for that matter. But since I know Carnatic music a little bit, let me talk about that. In Carnatic music, there is something called ragas. And ragas have been there for more than 400, 500 or probably 1,000 years, because people say that it started even before the professional name called Carnatic music came in. So it's been there for many years now. So if you look at it, a raga is supposed to have an ascending scale and a descending scale, and the musician is supposed to make his own improvisations, innovations using that. If you look at the last 400 years of Carnatic music, every raga has been discussed, spoken about, sung and things like that. If not every raga, at least most of the ragas. In fact, ragas are classified into two categories. One is Melakarta ragas and then there is something called Janya ragas. So Melakarta is 72 in number and all the 72 have been sung in numerous concerts by numerous musicians. But children still continue to learn Carnatic music, professionals still emerge in this field, they sing the same songs, they sing the same ragas and things like that. But what makes them special? That's where innovation comes in, because the musician tries to take what is already existing and presents to us in a very different format. You can take this and apply to the case of movies also. For instance, if you take a movie like Pulan Visarane, which was directed by R.K. Selvamani, the story behind the making of this movie will be very fascinating for you in terms of innovation. Captain Vijaykant, or actor Vijaykant as he is known, had a friend called Ibrahim Rautar, who was a very close friend of Vijaykant and also his manager for a long time. At the peak of his career, Vijaykant hardly had any time to do movies. He was literally acting in about 15 to 18 movies in a year. And R.K. Selvamani, who graduated from the Film Institute in Chennai, wanted to make a movie with Vijaykant. He was never given an opportunity. He used to walk to Mr. Rautar's office every single day trying to ask for an opportunity, but to be only told that the actor's dates were not available for at least 1 year. And after 1 year, he again went and he was told the same thing. So he decided to do something different. He figured out that Vijaykant's friend Ibrahim Rautar wanted to make a movie where Vijaykant can come in a Western clothing, riding horses, the cowboy types and things like that. Nobody had done a movie like that with Vijaykant because he was out and out a very native person from the region of Tamil Nadu. So his friend had a dream to have Vijaykant do a movie like that. Knowing this, R.K. Selvamani went to his roommate with whom he was sharing his room, and his roommate apparently or coincidentally turned out to be an artist. So he said, Rautar seems to be looking to do a movie with Vijaykant in Western clothing and things like that. Will you be able to make some pictures or drawings of Mr. Vijaykant in such costumes? So Selvamani's friend, the artist, made an album. He created an album where he did a lot of drawings with Vijaykant in the costume of a cowboy, wearing Western clothing, hats, boots and things like that. So this time on, what Selvamani did was, he took the album and he went to Mr. Ibrahim Rautar's office, and there he was told, there are no dates for another year. But this time Selvamani had something else in mind. He said, I understand, sir, He doesn't have any dates. But can you look at this album? I just created this for you to take a look at it. And then the magic happened. Mr. Rautar opened the album and he saw the first photograph of Vijaykant with all the Western clothing and everything. And he did not turn the page for the next 5 minutes or so to look at the next picture. That was the moment where innovation happened, or what we call as Jugaad in India, right? So he immediately turned at Mr. Selvamani after 5 minutes, looking at the photo and said, "Hey, Mr. Vijaykant doesn't have the dates during daytime, but I can get his time for 30 nights. Will you be able to make a movie with him?" And Selvamani naturally said yes. But think about it. The movie that Selvamani did with Vijaykant had nothing to do with Western clothing, had nothing to do with Western wear or boots or anything. He went on to do a investigative thriller called Pulan Visaranai, which turned out to be a major hit, and that catapulted Selvamani into stardom, fame and everything, also making a huge hit for Vijaykant. The movie was a huge hit for Vijaykant. Innovation or Jugaad is all about presenting details in a certain fashion. It is not about trying to create something out of the blue. If that were to be done, it's called invention. So innovation can happen when you focus on certain things, when you are very observant, when you are clearly looking at what you want to do. And by being or staying immersed in what you are doing, innovation is always a possibility. Thank you. Look forward to talking to you on Movie Monday next week. Thank you.